Are you ready?
We are Before the Free Count. Wrestling for the fans, by the fans.
The number one podcast for the latest on Raw, SmackDown, and all pay-per-views. My name's Charlie. I've been a wrestling fan since I was the age of 15. And over the last 5 years, I've gone on the most insane journey. We go through everything, analysing every moment. Welcome to Before the Free Count. So come along and let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Before the Free Count. This is summary of SmackDown. Hope you're all well. Welcome back yet again. It is blistering in the UK yet again for the second week. We are here with your summary of SmackDown, as I said. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do apologise we didn't do a Raw review this week, but it was because of the timing by the time the episode came out for Night of Champions that we thought that maybe that would cover it. So we hope that didn't annoy you too much. You had your episode on Monday. This is your episode for Sunday, I'm hoping. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. So, this week on SmackDown, of course, we kick it off with the amazing Cody Rhodes, fresh off his win from Night of Champions. If you didn't hear that episode, please go back and listen to that one at any point you want. You will find it on the playlist, on Apple Music, and of course on Spotify, or if you're watching it here on YouTube. But no, Cody, of course, won at King of the Ring last week, so we opened the show with him, which was brilliant, by the way. And he said that, happy 4th of July, because, of course, this is being filmed on the 5th of July. You're watching this on the 6th, hopefully. This is, not just a day for me to celebrate the crown. It's a day for me to celebrate America. So, woo, yeah, go for that. I also mentioned a kid. I can't remember the kid's name. Really wish I remembered it. But he met a kid before the show that he, gave a big shout out to, who's battling leukemia. So I thought that was really, really sweet for him to do that. I really wish I could remember the kid's name now. But, in our prayers, hope everything goes well for you, kid. So, yes, and then he started talking about how he's going to go for John Cena, which we all thought was going to be the obvious decision here for SummerSlam. It was down to him who he wanted to pick. I didn't really see him going any other way, though. Especially after Seth Rollins getting involved. I think they've started the build to probably we already know it's going to be the biggest SummerSlam ever now. We've got John Cena there. We've got Cody Rhodes fighting for the title since WrestleMania again. So we've got the rematch of one of the biggest matches this year. We've got Seth Rollins with the Money in the Bank briefcase still, saying he's going to cash it in, but will he? I don't know. Still a bit confused about that whole thing from last week, if he's going to be... if he's going to be working with John on this. I think it's really weird. I don't know what's going on, man. It was a bit confusing. But of course, whilst he was talking about all of this, Randy Orton decided to come out because, of course, that's who his final match was against at Night of Champions. Congratulated him, but he said, "You've got to promise me you don't squander this opportunity. You've got to take John down now." And, of course, he was going to make his promise. But then, of course, out of nowhere, and this shocked me, because I watched this the morning that I'm making this, which is Saturday, and I was surprised that nothing on my phone actually went off last night to tell me this had happened, to say that Drew McIntyre had returned, which I thought awesome, but that was actually quite a shock for me. But I was really, really happy to see him back again since since WrestleMania. We haven't seen him since, which I thought was really, really cool. And he's going for Randy Orton. And he was kind of, I don't like to say it, but he was kind of saying the same things I was saying about Randy Orton. Saying that, you busted my back, but ever since your back went off last year and you returned out, you haven't really been the same. I was like, it's funny. It's like I was kind of saying this last week, which I found quite ironic. But no, of course, we love Randy Orton here. Of course we do. But yes, he out of nowhere then gets an RKO from, of course, Randy, ending that promo very quickly. But from the take of it, I just want to say, brilliant promo. I absolutely love that. Really, really good start to the show. Great to see. Just a very clear from the outset, we're not going to be beating around the bush on this one. He's going for Cena. that is the road we're heading down in the next month, I think, because it's a month or 3 weeks. It's got to be a month, surely. I'm sure it's like the first week of August. I'm sure it is. Yeah, because we've got Evolution. We've got Evolution next week, which I'm really excited for. And we have then got probably a 2-week break. Not break. A 2-week break to get back into it and start the build up really, really intensely towards SummerSlam. And, they've got to fill out 2 nights here. So I think going out and announcing one of the main events at the offset was kind of what they needed to do. Because the ticket sales have been all right, but 2 nights, there hasn't been enough there to make people want to go, okay, I'm putting my money down, I'm going for 2 nights. A guaranteed main event being Cody versus Cena, which was the main event at WrestleMania, that's a guarantee. Yep, I'm going for that. And they haven't said which night it's going to be on. So it makes sense because, people go, well, now I need to buy 2 tickets because I don't know what night that's going to be on. I'd presume that would be the second night. I presume. But again, last year we had Roman Reigns, the most main event WrestleMania headliner, go out on the first night last year because of Cena Cody this year. So you never know. You never ever know. Going on from there, we then had a little bit backstage with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, who are teaming up to be in a tag team match that they were in straight away afterwards, which was against what are they called? You had B-Fab and of course Michin, and then you had Chelsea Green's group, the Secret Horses, whatever it's called, can't remember. But basically it was Piper Niven and the other one. Sorry, I can't remember her name right now. In a triple threat tag team match for a chance at the 6 tag team match, which will be at Evolution next week. So it was like a qualifying match for one of those tag teams to go into the tag team match at Evolution. So I think they're going to be doing that next week, and probably one on NXT, if I'm going to be honest, and maybe even one on SmackDown next week. So you never know. It's a very busy week next week for WWE fans. There's if you think about it, it's got to be nearly 20 hours, maybe 30 hours of wrestling next week. Because you got Raw, which is about 2.5, 3 hours sometimes. NXT, that's 2 hours, so you're already on 4.5, nearly 5. Then you've got SmackDown, which takes it over to 7. And then you've got Saturday Night Main Event. People are forgetting that's taking place. It was confirmed later on, by the way, that Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton will be fighting at that, which will be great. I can't remember any of the other matches they've announced for that. Just being honest here. I will get it all, by next week prepared for you guys. And then, of course, we then have Evolution on the Sunday. So, very busy weekend for the wrestling fans of especially WWE. So, yes, but match was really good. Going back to the women's tag team match here. Really, really good. Really enjoyed this. I like the way they're making this story with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair work. I think this could be something that's very, very cool, but I can see it going a way that people are going to think that Charlotte's going to turn on Alexa, because obviously it's her that's saying she doesn't want to be with her, but I can actually see it going the other way, because it would make more sense, But, maybe we will see some kind of, I don't know, what would you call the team? What would you call the team? It's got to be something like the Psycho Queens, or I don't know, Blissful Diamonds. That's a good name. That's what they should call it. Blissful Diamonds. There you go. That's your name. That's what I'm saying it should be called. The Blissful Diamonds. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good name to come on with out of nowhere. But yes, they won that match. I thought it was very good. A lot of the matches this week were very quick. For me, I just felt like that it was kind of like the previous week where we're kind of rushing to get to something, but nothing really prevailed. But well, it did in Night of Champions, but you know, it can happen sometimes. It just felt a bit like an off week really this week with SmackDown, I have to be honest. Not to say it was bad, not at all. It just seemed a bit all over the place, if that makes sense. So yeah, maybe I'm missing something, okay? But moving on from there, we then went to a backstage segment with, oh god, this is going to make my brain think. DIY, Axiom, oh Jesus. And then we went to a promo backstage which had DIY, Axiom, Street Profits, and not Lucha Libre Wrestling, because that's the brand. Basically the other luchador team. I know I should remember their name. I do apologise. I didn't write it down. I scribbled over it because I nearly put El Americano, okay? Okay, I just didn't get the name. I'm sorry. And they were basically like moaning because, you know, one of them kicked off with another one, and now a few weeks ago the Wyatt Six got involved, and I said how that died down, and now it's kind of like, okay, out of nowhere, let's pick this back up. Okay, great, absolutely for it. But we went straight into one member of each team, from Axiom, Street Profits, and DIY, could go up against the Wyatt Six right here, right now. Out of nowhere, by the way. Unless if I'm missing something. But I really enjoyed this. I thought, like, yes, this is what I wanted. This was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant match. Absolutely loved it. I have to give shout outs to Johnny Gargano and Eric Rowan in this match. I think them two were just brilliant in this match. I really did. Everyone was fantastic. Angelo Dawkins, like always, is fantastic. But no, this match in particular, them two really shined. And it was funny I mentioned them two because it was actually Johnny Gargano that helped the Wyatt Six get the win, because he would not tag over to the member of Nation Fraser from Axiom, which was shocking. Why did he do that? Leaving Wyatt Six to get the free call for no apparent reason. And of course, Johnny Gargano standing at the back of the, the ramp bars or whatever we call it. And yeah, I was shocked. What's going on there? So is he joining the Wyatt Six? Is he too scared of Eric Rowan? I don't know. We'll find out. But I thought that was really interesting. That was probably one of my favourite matches of the whole night. Really, really cool, that. Sorry to take a bit of time out in the vlog for you, but I wanted to talk about our sponsor, the amazing WrestleCrate, as you may have heard here. What is a WrestleCrate? Well, let me tell you. WrestleCrate is a monthly subscription box for people like you, that love wrestling. What do you get in this box, you're probably wondering? Well, let me show you. Autographs from people like Daniel Bryan, Lita, Godfather, DDP, Kane, Sting, the Hardy Boys. Well, what else do you get? Well, maybe you get a cool poster like this one, cool key rings, even pretty cool Lucha Libre puzzles like this. Cool pins like these, and you also get awesome t-shirt just like all of these. It's the best part, because you come through us before the free count, you can get yourself a free WrestleCrate with your first order just by going to www.wrestlecrate.co.uk and using the code BTTC, and you get a free box with your first order. How awesome does that sound? So what are you doing sticking around here? Go and get yourself one. Next up, we then had Tiffany Stratton come to the ring to, of course, announce it's Tiffy time, like always. And just as she starts her promo speaking about how she's the one that gets to pick who she fights Evolution, the person that gets to pick who fights for which title they want at SummerSlam came out straight away, which is, of course, our new Queen of the Ring, Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill comes out and goes, I'll give you your praise, you've been pretty good. But, where were you when I was taken out, And Jade Cargill, said to her, I'll give you your praise. You've done very well with your title reign and all that since, But where the hell have you been? You've been barely standing since, then. And you had nothing to do with Night of Champions because, you couldn't even get in it. So you couldn't even become the Queen of the Ring. So where were you when I was fighting Oscar, And she said it doesn't matter who she actually picks to fight because come SummerSlam, she will be walking away with the title. But of course, Tiffy then interrupted her and surprised us all. There was quite a few surprises this week. And said, I'm actually really happy you're here because I've got a surprise for you and everybody here. And whose music hits? Trish Stratton's. Perfect. Round of applause, WWE. Genius. Absolutely genius. What a brilliant way to bring in a classic, probably one of the best female wrestlers of all time. Probably the greatest from the Attitude Era. Same level as Lita. To me, them two are just on par. They were the women wrestlers. Back in the day, you had Sunny and everyone else as well. But to me, them two were just always the best. And they were the ones that really pushed stuff, made the changes and made things happen for the women the way they have today. And to get more Trish Stratus on the TV, it's always a good thing for me, I gotta say. Yes, of course, Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus have worked with each other before when they did a tag team match. It wasn't at WrestleMania, I know it wasn't. It was at something like Elimination Chamber or something like that. They definitely did something in the past because they mentioned it. But of course, Tiffany Stratton Tiffany Stratton. This is quite hard when one's called Trish and one's called Tiffany. Okay, so bear with me here. Okay, so Tiffany went on to say, I'd like to give you the opportunity to go for gold. And her response was, well, thanks to you, my kid got to see me in a tag team match, but they've never seen me with a belt. So I will happily take your offer. So we now know going into Evolution next week that we have got Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus, and the winner will face Jade Cargill at SummerSlam. Thought that was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely loved that, by the way. Brilliant. Just as we go backstage after that, we then see Jade Cargill walk down the corridor and she gets attacked by, of course, our Money in the Bank winner this year, Naomi, who by the looks of it has her very own customized briefcase. Now, I have seen this week Seth Rollins has got one coming out and it's like black and gold. It's got like his SR logo on it and it looks really, really cool. But this was the first time I've seen this. It was like yellow, black and white, so it had like a few yellow bits on like the sides, and I think the writing was in yellow, but it was in like the police tape black and white to match the outfit she was wearing, with bits of that like hanging out of it. It looks really, really cool. So yeah, we've got two customized Money in the Bank briefcases this year, and I think since we had one with Tiffany Stratton last year, and before that we had one, I can't remember who. Well, we didn't have one with Drew McIntyre because he lost it so quickly. But we definitely had one with Damian Priest. I think this is now starting to become a bit... This was definitely like one of the third or fourth times they've ever done this. I know Brock Lesnar used to have the big boombox one. I remember that very, very clearly. And there has been a few others before where they've been customized, but I like this idea that they become tradition, so then everyone has like their individual one almost like the side plates. You know what I mean? I think that's a really cool idea. So yeah, and, of course, you've always got the original green and gold one, which I love. I've got one I've shown you quite a few times. But no, I really like that segment because I thought, well, maybe she'll cash in at SummerSlam. I think that's obviously what they were trying to hint at. But I don't know. I think it would be more interesting if she cashed in at Evolution and took the opportunity away. Because then you take Tiff away from the title. Trish Stratton is then there to get that opportunity to be at Evolution. And then you've got a major match at SummerSlam with Jade Cargill and Naomi. Both would be perfect champions. But I don't want it to be one where, it's kind of hard because you then take the title away from Naomi quite quickly, but at the same time, you don't want to not give Jade Cargill this opportunity. So, it's one of those. It's very, very interesting the way we go about this at the moment. But you tell me what your thoughts on that. I'd really like to know. Of course, we then had another tag team match, which was Axiom versus Ray Phoenix and Andrade. That's the team I cannot remember the name of. To be honest, I don't actually know if they have a name yet. I don't even want to guess, because I honestly don't think they said. I would have written it down. I'm sure I would have written it down. But if someone's screaming at the screen now or listening to this going, it's no. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I love this match. Love this match as well. I thought it was brilliant. I thought Ray Phoenix and Andrade looked fantastic in this match. The win and the amount of stops near the 3 count from them near the end were just unbelievable. I mean, this is why I love that we're showing off luchador wrestling so much more now. Because it used to be every now and then, once a week, all right, bye-bye. We're getting 2 decent matches a week now. And it's really showing off that style so well, in a lot more of a different way than we've seen in the last 5 years within WWE. These matches are just so good, man. They're just so good. Their technique in the way they fly off the ropes and do their rope work and all this kind of stuff, it is just incredible. And the fast pace of it is genius. I absolutely love it. Ray Phoenix and Andrade went on to win the match just because of one of those fast finishes where one of them couldn't get to the ring on time. And don't think that they weren't going to try and go for it again, because literally I think someone put their hand up and tried to stop Andrade from jumping back in that ring, because it was so close. It honestly was so close. No, Andrade and Ray Phoenix won, so it must have been Nathan Frazier that I saw run back towards the ring, because it definitely wasn't the one with the mask on. So yes, very, very good. Then we go on to our main event, which was... But of course, out of nowhere, just before our main event, we had Damian Priest show up on SmackDown, which I thought was a bit of a surprise. And we had him speak to Aleister Black, and it was almost like he was giving him a warning about his match with R-Truth next week. Now, I don't know if Damian Priest had got a match with R-Truth on Monday Night Raw, but I thought that was very strange. I mean, I can't really... It kind of came across like as a warning, but to say that I'm not done with R-Truth, but at the same time, I'm not done with you. Very, very strange. Very strange. But, makes it interesting going into next week with everything else going on. I just hope it don't become one of those things that people forget about and, they go, people won't remember this. It's only a 20-second thing. So, yeah, we'll take it off the card. You need to do something here. We've had so many cool things since R-Truth has come back, and it's worked really well. That just keep the memento going, if I could say it properly. Keep the memento going, seriously. But no, very interesting, I thought that was. And finally, to sum up, we had our main event this week, which was Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso versus Solo Sikoa and JC Mateo. After, of course, Solo Sikoa won the United States Championship at Night of Champions. Of course, this is why it was the main event. United States Championship. It was the 4th of July yesterday. Makes sense, I guess. Wouldn't have been a match I would have put as the main event usually, though. I think they did it just for that reason. It was a great match. Really, really cool match. I love some of these matches, but the thing is, at the moment, I kind of feel a lot of these Bloodline matches are becoming very repetitive. And I hate to say it, I personally think they're becoming quite repetitive at the moment. It's like, okay, we're going to go for like 15 minutes and it's going to be really, really good. And then someone's going to run in and someone else is going to run in and someone else is going to run in. And then someone new that's a new member of the Bloodline is going to show up. And then, woohoo, we end the match because you're distracted by them. But the main takeaway isn't who actually won the match, it's the new person. And, you know, I was quite happy because Jacob Fatu actually won, which made absolutely no sense considering what was going on at the time. I was like, okay. I mean, I was presuming Solo was going to out and out be a hammering to Jacob Fatu with Jimmy Uso, but clearly not. But then they did exactly what I said anyway. And when the announcement was made and the music came through, the newest member of the Bloodline, Talatoa, I think. Look, we've got Tamatonga, Tangaloa, JC Mateo, should have just called him a TT name at this point, Tamagotchi for all I care, and Tumbaloa. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's just so many T's now. Against Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso. I mean, you got J and J there, and then you got J as in Jey Uso. What is going on with this family? And then you got Roman and Rikishi. I mean, is it just everyone's got to have at least two people with the same first initial? Jimmy, J, Jacob, Tungaloa, Tangaloa, and Tamatoa, Rashiki and Roman, Jey Uso, Jimmy, Jacob, JC. What's going on, man? What's going on? It's like they want to make a tongue twister. That's what they want to make. They want to make a tongue twister of the Bloodline. I just realised the other one. Rashiki, Roman, Rock. Oh, come on! It's the three J's. It has to be the three J's or the three R's. It's like, you know, I just can't. I can't deal with it anymore. I'm trying to remember all these names. It's just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. No, but going back to it, it was a really good match. But of course, Solo Sikoa and Tonga and Tungaloa and JC Mateo then basically beat the crap out of Jacob Fatu. Nowhere where Jimmy Uso was shown, by the way. I'm presuming he was knocked out or thrown through one of those tables early on, which I think is what happened at the end of the match. But then they were just going for Jacob Fatu, and I just felt sorry for him. Like, you know, it's not what you want to see happen at the end of a SmackDown, man. It's not what you want to see. But I digress. A brilliant episode of SmackDown this week. Really, really excited. Of course, as I said, we have so much going on next week. We have got Monday Night Raw, as always. Then, of course, we have SmackDown next week, where we're going to have this match against Aleister Black and R-Truth. We've also got a Saturday Night Main Event, where the only match I can remember, I do apologise, is Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. That alone gives me a reason to tune in. And then on Sunday night, we've got Evolution. I mean, it's a good week we've got coming up here. I'm quite excited. Boys and girls, I thank you very much for listening yet again. Remember, you can subscribe, like, send us comments and your thoughts to Before the Freak Out with what you thought of everything that went down this week. And, of course, as I just said, we will see you next week with Raw, SmackDown, and Evolution. We won't be covering Saturday Night's Live. Saturday Night Main Event. I always say that. Always say Saturday Night Live. That's my editor's fault, that is. That's my editor's fault. I always say Saturday Night Live. But Saturday Night Main Event as well. Thank you so much for listening. Again, share, like, subscribe. Send us your comments. We'd love to have a chat with you guys or hear what your thoughts are on everything going on in the WWE world right now. I've been Charlie, your host. This has been Before the Free Count. See you next time.